Hey, how's it going, everyone? We're going to give this another shot. Grant Cohn here, going into the Discord channel, see if this works. Let's see. Here we are. What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, and can you guys hear me on YouTube? Well, I guess we'll find out. People start saying eventually. All right. I think this is going to work.
Yeah, I can hear you on YouTube.
You can?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, we figured it out. I'll know how to do this again in the future. East Bay Chris, are you impressed?
Yeah, okay, we can hear me. Okay, everything's perfect.
Everything's good?
Yep.
Good, sweet, great.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, so how's your day?
Well, that was stressful. Glad that we figured it out. What are we talking about first?
Right.
What are we talking about first? Who wants to kick this one off?
Well, I thought you and your pops were too hard on my boy A-Rod. That's what I want to talk about real quick.
You want to talk about the Packers? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, you guys are eviscerating my boy A-Rod. Really, this is all on the GM. The GM drafting Jordan Love when you got a Hall of Famer MVP in his prime, not getting him a weapon. I mean, that's reprehensible.
In the same vein, I would say that the 49ers not getting Jimmy Garoppolo a weapon and instead spending that capital on Trey Lance was reprehensible because Jimmy Garoppolo, let me just say, Jimmy Garoppolo, okay, is a hell of a quarterback. And if you can't give him credit for that masterpiece that he just performed against that steel curtain of in Detroit, then I don't understand. I just, you're biased at this point. You're just a hater.
I second that because that back shoulder throw was amazing. And anyone that can't recognize that doesn't know anything about football.
Yeah, clearly didn't play the game. So I don't understand.
Did I join East Bay Chris's channel by accident?
No, but he's here. Hey, East Bay. He's just chilling. He's working, and he doesn't want his boss to know that he's slumming it in the Discord channel. That's okay.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd hear those words come out of your mouth, Grant. You actually praised Jimmy for one.
So good. I thought he was fantastic. He made the Detroit Lions look like the Detroit Lions. It was amazing.
Hey, yeah. Do the Detroit Lions not know that Jimmy's only good over the middle? Like, how was Jimmy able to hit Debo just constantly over the middle? Like, what was their game plan in Detroit?
That was the worst. That was one of the worst NFL defenses I've ever seen. Like, they didn't do anything well. Literally nothing. They didn't do anything well. There's no pass rush, no run defense, no coverage. It was terrible.
It's like they played the base D and just go, okay, guys, we're just going to put this on tape, play the base D, and we'll work from there. See what we have.
It was awful. I'm not blaming the defensive coordinator though. That they no good players in that defense. Zero.
So Grant, I did want to come on here and toot my own horn. You said I was going to be wrong about the 5 plays for Trey Lance. I was wrong. He only got 4, but I wanted to revisit that.
That's great, Chewy. You're right all the time. In fact, I think everyone should go on Twitter and talk about the stuff they're right about because nothing is more charming and endearing than tooting your own horn because I like to do it too. I was right about the Cardinals. I was real quick to go on Twitter and say that. But anytime you say something you're right about, you have 50 people telling you things you're wrong about, which I guess is fair. I guess that's fair.
Cardinals look really, really good though. Like, I'm really impressed with them.
Here's the thing about the Cardinals. No one cares. No one watches them. They never get like I was on a plane yesterday for 5 hours, and that's the only time I would watch ESPN. And they just talked about the same 7 teams constantly, and they never mentioned the Cardinals. It's interesting. It's a good team. They just don't have a running game. They need to be able to run the ball. But we're not here to talk about them. I think the Niners are the worst team in the
NFL. I mean, why did we draft Trey Lance? It's basically like Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love.
Exactly. If you wanted to give Jimmy Garoppolo another chance, then maybe you should.
Yeah, then we should have drafted Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, draft Kyle Pitts or draft Devontae Smith. One of those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're good. I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense. It seems like what they're saying is is Trey Lance going to be the starting quarterback next year? That's my question. Is he?
At this rate, no.
At this rate, no. Because if he doesn't play that much,
are we taking Judd's word that we're going to wait 2 years?
If he plays 4 snaps a game, he won't be ready next year.
It was still week 1, and Jimmy was on a roll.
True. I'm just saying, like, everyone says, well, sitting Patrick Mahomes didn't have an adverse effect. It worked out. Well, Patrick Mahomes played a lot of games in college. He wasn't in a situation where he started 1 year and then took a year off. It was a different situation. I think sitting Trey Lance most or all of 2021 will have an adverse effect on his development.
That's what I was just going to ask. I think
it'll have an adverse effect. He needs playing time. He didn't get much of it in college, and he sat out last year. If he's going to be good, how does him sitting for 2 years make him ready to start next year? Just being 22 will make him ready to start next year? I don't see that.
Well, the problem is that you start eating up. There's really only room for a cheap Super Bowl window.
Yeah.
To be fair, Grant, Jimmy played at borderline Pro Bowl alternate level. I mean, you can't bench a guy like that.
Who cares, Chewy? He's not going to be the starting quarterback next year. They're not going to win the Super Bowl with him this year. If he played at a Pro Bowl level against the Lions week 1, frankly, what does that do for this organization?
Alternate to the Pro Bowl. I don't think he was quite at that level.
Well, the thing about it is, let's be real. They played the Lions, right? So It's like it would be like in a basketball situation where you have a guy putting up layups, a rookie putting up layups on a team that doesn't have a center.
Right.
And then you're going, oh, yeah, he's doing amazing. It's like, yeah, you're playing the last place team. He better make those layups. Like, It doesn't say anything. If anything, that game yesterday, is it yesterday? Yesterday says about us is that on Sunday, is that we can't really stop the run without Kinlaw, and we have a serious secondary problem.
I think they have a defense problem.
I think we have a big defense problem.
Yeah, if Javon Kinlaw doesn't play and Emmanuel Mosley doesn't play, that means that Dante Johnson could start or Josh Norman could start, and that's a bad place to be. Also, we saw they can't seem to stop the run without Kinlaw. They're in trouble.
Yeah, that wide 9, I don't think that's going to work.
I don't think the wide 9 works without Kinlaw.
Yeah.
I mean, you really need guys that you can't move. Basically, you need 2 defensive tackles who can eat up double teams, and the Niners have 1, DJ Jones. 2 is Javon Kinlaw, and he's not there.
We went from having we had 1 hole because Kinlaw wasn't going to be there, which I was concerned about from the get-go, from Saturday.
Yeah.
And then now we have 2 glaring holes, right, which is what's going to happen with Kinlaw all year, right? Because the way that we see it right now, to me, Kinlaw's ceiling this year is getting to play in limited snaps, maybe miss 4 games, and his floor is IR for a bunch of weeks.
No, it's not looking good for Kinlaw, but like for like the immediate future of the 49ers, what's important here is DeMeco Ryans. He needs to make an adjustment. Because if he sticks with this wide 9 defense against a good running team and he doesn't have Kinlaw, he could lose. This is kind of a gimmick front unless you have some serious defensive tackles who can stop the run.
Grant, this hole you guys are talking about, I have to acknowledge, it wouldn't be here if they had Buckner.
It's true. It's true. Now, Kinlaw is a better run defender than Buckner in this wide 9 because he's bigger. But Buckner would really help right now. What are you gonna say, Coach?
Well, number one, Buckner had the similar problems that a lot of these interior defensive linemen were having too. That's part of the reason why they moved on from him, is that he was getting moved in the run game. I mean, so like that.
It's the same reason that they don't move Eric Armstead inside on base downs. Like he would get moved around.
I don't know why they're not letting Armstead try to play inside. I mean, he's strong and powerful. Maybe he can help with some of this stuff, but. The other
he's too high cut, man. He's not built to take on double teams like that. You can push him from the side.
The other thing, too, I think the biggest thing that can help DeMeco is Kyle. Like, Kyle, you're supposed to be people talk as if you're the best offense coordinator. Everybody on the offense is healthy. So they should score 40-45. If they score 40-45 and DeMeco's not under pressure to hold the team to 14, 17 points,
Well, that's what I think is going to happen this week, Coach. I think the Niners should be able to score a lot of points again, but I think the Eagles actually – I think they're going to score at least 24 points in this game.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. They need Kyle with his healthy offense and his quarterback.
Right. Just handle it, right? Like, don't put the game in D'Amico's hands. Yeah, exactly.
It's just growing pains for D'Amico. I mean, we went through it with Saleh. He's a brand new defensive coordinator. He has to go through some growing pains.
It's not just that. He's like I don't know that any defense coordinator in the league would have been able to do that much at the end of the game. When you lose all your corners, there's not much you can really do. And then the other part of that is the way it happened and who it happened to. I think the fact that it happened to Verrett, it really set the team back emotionally. And then with the quick change of possession, those coaches didn't have a lot of time to talk to those players and calm them down and get them back. So I wouldn't overlook that part of it with quick change of possession. Hey, let's rally the troops and all that part.
And 2 big turnovers. Come on, like we shouldn't even gone to the defense if we don't make those turnovers on offense.
No, but hold on, I want to talk with Coach about something because you were tweeting about this during the game and you were right. Like the Niners couldn't stop split belly zone. What was that?
So split zone is you're taking the tight end,
bringing him across.
You're taking the tight end. You're not motioning him, but when after the snap, the entire line blocks back, and then the tight end comes across like a pulling lineman
and gets to the end.
Out the end.
Yeah.
And what it does is they're putting the Niners defensive end in conflict because they know he plays an aggressive style and they step up the field. They have to conscious of quarterback movement outside.
Right.
So when he comes up, he's outside of that block. In order to stop that play, that defensive end would have to go inside of that tight end's block to come down and stop the running.
And you're already so wide out there. I mean, you've already helped them out. You're in an extra gap out.
Right. You don't have to do all of that though. Is that we saw this in the Rams game in 2019, and we saw this in the first game right after they started running the ball on that first drive. We switched to gap exchanging, so where the front side, the 1 technique and the 3 technique would switch gaps. So instead of the 3 technique playing the B gap, he would switch inside to the A gap off the snap, and we saw that was causing problems.
Yeah.
We know how to stop that play.
Or you can go to a 5-man front. Solid you go to 5-man front his first 2 years here.
We saw 5-man fronts before from this defense with Kasurik.
That's what we need.
Alternative to that as well, because if you have eyes on that tight end, whoever is responsible for that tight end on the other opposite side can, if he sees the tight end come across in the play, he can slice through and make the tackle. But in order for him to do that, the defensive line has to hold up for some time, a little bit of time.
See, that's what I was saying. Like the biggest culprit on that play was Zach Kerr getting washed out.
Right.
That's why the hole was so big.
Right. And what they're doing on that front side is like that tackle is just going immediately for the backer.
Exactly.
And then so what it does is that the guard is going to chip the 2 tech and chip him onto the center, help the center out, and then he's going to climb to the mic.
Right.
Now,
and you pointed out that the Lions have a great center, the Eagles have a great center.
Right. That 2 tech has to be able to hold that guard and keep him from getting to that backer in time for that Mike backer to come down and fill that gap. And if he can't do it, it's going to screw up.
And that was like Kevin Givens, and Kevin Givens is not a good run defender. Even Kentavious Street was getting moved around. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see. D'Amico has to do something because this is exactly what happened to Jim O'Neill when Chip Kelly was the head coach. He wanted to run a 3-4, which is very spread out with your defensive lineman. Your nose tackle has to be a stud because he's isolated. Glenn Dorsey got hurt. They didn't have Ian Williams. They went with Mike Purcell as their nose tackle and gave up like 250 yards a game between the tackles. They were awful. And that's why Robert Saleh was here. So I got to see what D'Amico does.
So we have the Eagles this week. And if you look at Jalen Hurts, what he did was he averaged less than 4 air yards, was highly efficient, and it looks all repeatable. So what I asked you guys, what are they going to do to stop that?
Score.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like the Niners need to score this week. They need to be a high-scoring team. I just don't think you can expect the Niners to have a dominant defense. I think people do expect it because Fred Warner's here and Nick Bosa's here, but Salah's gone, Jason Verrett is gone, and I don't know what you can expect from Javon Kinlaw, and those are three big losses.
Grant, you know when you have a dominant defense next year when you get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and you can pay a bunch of money for a corner and fix that hole.
It's just too bad because now the Niners need to get a replacement for Kinlaw. I mean, unless he can actually recover, they're going to need to spend another high pick on a guy who's just a run defender because they use the wide 9.
That's problem is this team has relied on injury-prone players, and if you're expecting them to last the full season, I think that was foolhardy at best.
Like the concept, injury waiting to happen. That was Verrett. That was Mostert. How many more crucial players on this team are an injury waiting to happen?
Oh, wow. We got a few of them.
The quarterback,
we got at least 3.
The wide receiver, the tight end, the left tackle, the left defensive end, the right defensive end, the strong safety. I mean, it's how they put this team together. Coach, you tweeted it. You had a really good point. Like, if you build a team around guys who have a history of injuries, I mean, some of them are going to have repeat injuries. Some of them will.
Yeah, it's going to take. Now they've spoken about they're changing the philosophy on building a roster, but it's going to take time for them to clear it out. If you have all these guys with pre-existing injuries, like just statistically, it's going to pan out where some of them are going to re-injure them. So like, it's going to take time. Like they're going to have to get the D Ford off the roster. They're going to have to get all these guys that have pre-existing injuries off the roster. And then when you have X amount of those guys, chances are they're going to repeat. They're going to have those same injuries again. And, it's just going to take time for them to go through the process. Right now, they've got a roster full of those guys because we talked about it before earlier in the year. They can't get rid of some of these. They can't get rid of D Ford's contract. You could cut or trade Nick Bosa, but I mean, I don't know.
Let me ask you guys this. What do you, after watching the Niners beat the Lions, did you reassess your expectations for the season? Where do you see the Niners going? Where do you see them finishing in this division? And what do you, I mean, do you look at the Niners differently?
I actually ignored them after watching the other teams. I watched the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the Rams. Mm-hmm. And they all dominated those games from the beginning to the end. And I know it's just week 1. But the 49ers, they couldn't do that. And then, you take into account all these injuries and all the issues that they have. And I'm not seeing the same issues on those other teams.
And those teams had tougher opponents.
Now, I think the Niners definitely could start the season 3-0, but I'm not sure that they're even going to make the playoffs. I think losing Jason Verrett is very rough. And if Mosley and Kinlaw miss time too, this defense is in trouble.
Well, I think losing Verrett sucks, but we also got to take into account the Cardinals played the Titans, and the Titans are okay, but their offensive line stinks. Their defense stinks. And it was unfortunate that the Cardinals jumped out in front of the Titans because, they don't have great corners in Arizona. Arizona doesn't have great corners. So they really got put behind the 8 ball, and they just got blown out the water quick because Chandler Jones is Chandler Jones. The Seahawks, I was surprised with how the Seahawks played because they got a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz early and often, and that offensive line in Indy is good. So maybe that's a good thing for us week 7. Who knows? And the Rams, it's the Rams. They're top heavy. God forbid they get it. One person gets injured, and that team's going to be in the tank soon too.
The problem I think they could be a 9 to 10 win team, even with some injuries. That's where I had them at before the season started, was 9 to 10 wins, because I factored in that there was going to be some injuries. But I think they're still right there. I think honestly 10 wins probably wins our division anyways, just because it's so tough. So I think it's going to be jumbled up, and there's going to be multiple teams from our division in the playoffs.
I think we're last in our division right now.
That's how I see it.
We have the worst quarterback in our division.
Worst quarterback in the division.
Cardinals look the best by far.
Is it the worst defense in the division? I mean,
yeah.
What was that? I don't understand. They faced the Lions, and you couldn't stop the run. And then when Verrett left the game, you couldn't stop the pass. I don't know. I'm a little concerned. I still think they can beat the Eagles. Although, real quick, does anyone think the Niners are going to lose this weekend?
I think there's always a chance.
I mean, I feel like the Eagles are a live dog. Like, they're way better than the Lions. And I know Jalen Hurts isn't a great quarterback, but he looked damn good week 1. Was anyone else impressed?
Yeah,
I'm worried
it's
about
repeatable. That's the thing.
It's
not like he was throwing. Yeah, it's not like he was throwing bombs and like all this stuff where you're like, yeah, he's got lucky, or that, they're not going to get that all the time. He average air yards 3.8 per pass, like totally repeatable.
Is that because he threw a lot of screens? Like, a big part of their offense is it's like RPO screen. You know, fake the zone read, throw a quick screen to a wide receiver. It worked against Atlanta. I don't know how good the Eagles' offense is because they're going against a bad Atlanta defense, but I think you got to give their defense credit for totally shutting down Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley. I mean, 6 points, 140 passing yards.
All I know is they have to win this game, because if they don't win this game, they're looking down the freaking barrel of Green Bay.
Well, Green Bay looks awful real quick.
Seattle, yeah, it's true. But they're still, they look bad. But, you know, it's like you could see that one minute and then it looks something different, you know? And then you have Seattle and then Arizona.
Rough.
We cannot lose this game.
Because I don't see the Niners necessarily beating Seattle or Arizona week 4 or 5. It could, but those are very difficult games. So I think it's important for the Niners to start 3-0.
Well, I don't think we need to push the panic button on this defense. I think, yes, it was concerning that the Lions were able to run the ball with so much success, but the second half, we had such a lead. The defense softened up. We were giving up. I mean, the running backs caught 8 balls. Swift caught 8 balls. Jamal Williams caught 8 balls. We were conceding the short passes. So that's what allowed Goff to get into a rhythm. But if it's a tight game, we're not going to play the soft coverage. Let me ask you, our DBs right now, how much worse are our DBs right now than 2019? I mean, Richard Sherman, he played all right, but he got exposed in the playoffs, all right? So I'm not sure our DBs are worse off than in 2019.
The pass rush isn't as good as it was in 2019. Because in 2019, the Niners had this guy. What was his name? Oh, I forget his name. Buckner. DeForest Buckner. Man, that guy was so good. What happened to him? Did he retire? No, the Niners traded him. Oh, they traded him, and then they got Javon Kinlaw, who's hurt. Yeah, no, that's a problem. That's a problem right there, because even though Buckner only had, 7 sacks that year, he was arguably the MVP of the defense. He was just as impactful as Bosa. And now the Niners have a good edge rush, but I really am concerned about what they're going to do with Hurts, because it's not the key to defending Hurts isn't rushing him. It's containing him. Make him execute from the pocket, and really the Falcons couldn't do it. The Niners aren't great at doing that because Armstead, Bosa, I mean, they're more concerned about getting upfield than containing.
And this is why we got to put more pressure on John Lynch. You go after Kyle Shanahan, but John Lynch, he's the one who I think picked Javon Kinlaw, and that's a stupid pick. Why are you going to pick a run-stuffing DT top 15? The guy, if you pick a top 15 defensive tackle, he needs to get to the quarterback.
Agree, and they did it because their mistakes are early in the draft when they're drafting for scheme fit. Like, they drafted Kinlaw because they have a wide 9 and he makes their run defense work. I understand that, but you don't draft for scheme fit that early. You got to take the best player available. Otherwise, you miss.
Absolutely.
Yeah, unless you get defensive tackles like a Casey Hampton that just clogs up everything when he was
Vita
with
Vea,
Steelers.
right? Vita Vea is like what Kinlaw is supposed to be.
Yeah, that guy's insane.
He's amazing, and he's not a pure pass rusher, but he's a force. If Kinlaw could be that, then he'd be a great pick, but he's not that.
What about the Jason Verrett injury during the game? Did that affect the players, you think? Like, is that the reason why they came back so fast, so fast?
I think the whole team let down, man. I mean,
and
George
will
Kittle,
that linger into the next game?
That's a good question.
Does that injury linger into the next game? Like, for any of the players? Like, is it on their mind still, you know?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, Jackhammer said it didn't last year when Bosa went down. Like the next game, we came out really strong. So I'm interested to see if that happens.
But we had Sherman last year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles, to me, they might be the best team in the NFC East, guys, because I think they have a better defense than Dallas.
Hey, Grant, I have a question.
Hey, Chardol.
So my question is, do you think Drake Kirkpatrick, the player the Niners just signed, do you think he's going to be good replacement for Verrett, the injured Verrett?
No, I don't think so. I think they want the starting corners to be Diamador Lenore and Emmanuel Mosley. And I think they're both solid corners to Barrier Baller's point. And if the pass rush is good, the pass defense should be good. My question is, what's up with Mosley? The guy's been healthy for like 2 weeks this year.
And
if he's out, then who's up next?
Out for 8 weeks, which really sucks because now the Niners are in deep trouble with Mostert out for 8 weeks. 8 weeks.
Hey, Chardol, he's out for the year. He shut himself down.
That's bad.
It just came out an hour ago. Yeah,
that's so bad, man.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Knee surgery.
What's going to happen now? Who's going to replace him now?
Elijah Mitchell. I like Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
I thought he looked good.
Let's go.
But I don't think he's as good as Mostert. I think Mostert is the best outside zone runner I've ever seen. He makes it look so
much
easy.
So explosive.
I would agree with that.
But he's never gonna. I think he's probably played his last game with the Niners. It's too bad.
Probably.
Who's the starter gonna be for the Eagles game?
Starting running back?
No, starting quarterback. Who's gonna be starting?
I wish
Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo.
Probably Jimmy.
When do you think it's going to be Trey Lance's chance to, be the star?
Good question. When do you guys think Trey Lance is going to start? When's his first game going to be? That's a new
2023.
I don't because 2023. So you're saying this whole week
he's joking.
Jimmy's going to be starting and then Trey Lance is going to be starting.
I think he was joking, but maybe there was some truth to it. Look, my dad said he thought it was going to be after the bye week. I'm starting to wonder about that. But let's say real quick. Let's say Jimmy Garoppolo loses to the Eagles. That could be the end. Right there.
Yeah.
So
honestly, Lance is probably better against Green Bay than Jimmy by far because Green Bay just loses to the run game and Trey just improves our run game. So.
Yeah, is that a theory?
Chardol. I think what's going to happen is they're going to increase his usage every week. So week 1, 4 snaps, 3 runs, 1 pass. Week 2, maybe 8 snaps, 6 runs, 2 passes, and so on.
So when I was watching that interview with your dad, does he really hate Matt Ryan?
He does. I didn't see where that was kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. I was very surprised by that. I was like,
by what?
I think the Niners should be concerned about the Eagles' defense because they shut down Matt Ryan and he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And he was like, wait a second. Your
dad disagreed with that when you had the interview with him?
He did. I think Matt Ryan's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, but my dad somehow disagrees. He called him a loser. I was like, that's mean.
He doesn't agree with what you're saying that Matt Ryan is not Matt Ryan is like a loser.
He thinks Matt Ryan's a loser. I think that's a little harsh. I don't know.
That was a little harsh. He's your dad, right? I mean, he can have his bold takes and what he thinks about everything.
That's true. I'll let him slide this one time.
Yeah,
I'll let him slide.
Okay.
Grant, so you're happy? I will say I think Trey's going to be 15 to 20 snaps in week 2 because I think Jimmy will struggle against the Eagles front.
That's a good front, right?
Yeah.
It's a really good pass rush. The only thing is I don't know what their run defense is like. They did a really good job against Mike Davis, and they couldn't really contain Cordero Patterson. I don't know. They came out giving up 4.8 yards per carry. What's that about?
Well, Grant, that's the thing that you just have to take in context with the Falcons, right? Because you look at it, you're like, oh, he shut down the Falcons and all these weapons. But you know what the Falcons really haven't tended to, and what's probably the most important position is they haven't taken care of their offensive line.
That's true.
And you need that before you get all these fancy pieces, Kyle Pitts and all
that's
that.
True.
And all, so that's where they beat them. And that's where Jimmy
the Eagles do. I mean, they still have Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. It's a good D line. Yeah.
All those guys are.
And again, you saw what that D line did to the Niners last year. I mean, that was the beginning of Mike McGlinchey's awful year. That week 4. I mean, he got his ass kicked by the Eagles. So, I mean, if the Niners can run the ball, they'll score 30 points and win, and it'll be fine. If the running game doesn't work, and it didn't work last year because they had to start Jerick McKinnon, they'll lose. They will lose this game.
And
I'm worried about Fletcher Cox on Daniel Brunskill. They're going to get one-on-one matchup, and it's the same thing the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl or even in that preseason game. Chris Jones is lining up over Brunskill. He can't handle him.
Yeah.
Grant.
Yes.
Are we going to see more juice check against the Eagles?
Well, last time they played the Eagles, the second pass of the game was a deep shot to Juszczyk, and it was incomplete. So maybe. I think like Kyle Shanahan likes using Juszczyk as the secret weapon. You don't know when he's going to call, and he calls his number like once a month. And when he does call it, it's a touchdown or a big play. And I think the same thing's happening with Trey Lance. It's like he's in the back of every team's mind. When's he coming out? And we don't really know when Shanahan's planning him for, but I think in the next month, there's going to be a moment where he's plays a lot. Like maybe Kyle's thinking about it like, look, I don't want to waste a surprise against the Lions. Like I don't need to. I can beat them. I want to save this for week 4 against the Seahawks. This could be the reason I beat the Seahawks this year. Something like that. Maybe that's what he's thinking.
Hey, Grant. Everyone calls Kyle Shanahan a genius, right? But all the plays I've seen him dial up for Trey Lance, apart from the first play, right, against the wing right in the air, right? Apart from the first play right in the air, every other play that they've dialed up for him has been pants.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't understand what that's about, man. Those runs don't look very inspired. They don't look like they practice them very much. What is the Trey Lance package right now? I don't get it.
Hey, Grant, I have a question. Gavin brought up a big point that they're keeping Brandon Ayuk in the doghouse.
Yeah, I don't understand. I wonder if it's just a week 1 thing or it'll carry over into week 2 because
why are they keeping him in there?
Why.
Is he vaccinated?
Kyle's ego. It's his ego.
Yeah, he's vaccinated.
He is vaccinated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was in a presser where it was Verrett was there too. Verrett had a mask on. Ayuk didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Kyle's better than everybody else, guys. We need to realize this.
Because Gavin brought that up. That's why I wanted to bring this topic up because Gavin talked about why they're keeping Ayuk in the doghouse.
It's Kyle's mentality. It is. He thinks he's better than everybody else, and what he's doing to Ayuk, if he's in the doghouse, that's wrong.
Yeah.
It just seems like every wide receiver ends up in his doghouse eventually.
Yeah, because you mean to me when I think he's in the doghouse, to me I think like he's grounding Ayuk. Like you were grounded, you have to learn what you're doing, and then once you learn everything, then I'm going to let you out of there.
And what did he do to get? Did he miss his curfew? Maybe he went up to Kyle and was like, Kyle, Grant Cohn thinks I should return punts. I agree. And maybe Kyle was like, okay, you want to be a punt returner? You don't get to be a wide receiver anymore.
Do you think, Grant, that those punt returns that he made on the weekend was a direct jab at you?
Like what?
Maybe.
What did he do?
Yeah, can we talk about what Mayoko had tweeted?
Yeah, I don't understand what he's referring to. I don't understand what he's referring to. I mean, he looks like he's in good shape. He had a decent training camp. He didn't play well in preseason, but he didn't get that many opportunities. What could he possibly have done?
Could it be that he's running routes wrong?
Maybe. I have no idea, but they haven't explained it.
Huh.
It's his ego, guys. It's his ego.
What are your thoughts of Mayoko?
Oh, go ahead.
I love Matt Mayoko, man. We had a great time in Detroit too. Nice guy.
Grant, real quick.
Yeah.
As far as the Ayuk and Sermon and everything, have you heard of like in the Niners in the past of people missing curfew and Shanahan like ever punishing someone for missing
that's
curfew?
never gotten out. I feel like that's in-house stuff. So I haven't heard of it. But I mean, there was the stuff with Reuben Foster, at the team hotel in Tampa where he brought his girlfriend in and all that stuff. So I don't know.
Hey, Grant.
What?
Well, what do you? I've thought about this, and I think you might have brought this up too. Why do you think that this team keeps getting running backs and linebacker? For players like Trey Sermon in early rounds when they've normally hit on those kind of players in undrafted free agency and later rounds instead of filling other needs.
I think it's pretty obvious that Kyle Shanahan makes the picks early in the draft. And I think part of the reason that the Niners are so good later in the draft is that's when the professionals take over. No offense. I mean, imagine the way I look at it is like the Niners needed a running back. Kyle Shanahan fell in love with Trey Sermon, probably. And Bobby Turner fell in love with Elijah Mitchell probably, and Kyle overruled him. Imagine having that kind of an ego to look at Bobby Turner, who discovered Terrell Davis and countless other running backs and was like, you know what? I disagree with you, Bobby. We'll take your guy. We're going to take my guy first. That's just how I guess it went down. I just would think that you'd have some humility to be like, hey, if Bobby Turner says Elijah Mitchell's the truth, let's just take Elijah Mitchell and not spend a 3rd round pick on a running back because I trust Bobby Turner. When is he ever wrong?
They should never draft
ever
a running back
ever.
You don't need to. Like if it's like if you have like an orange tree in your backyard, why are you importing why are you bringing in oranges? Like you have it.
That's a good analogy.
Like that, Bobby Turner is an asset for the team. Don't get something you have problems getting. Like Bobby Turner can take UDFAs and late round picks and turn them into 1,000-yard rushers. They don't. It doesn't matter. Even if you're not Terrell Davis, if he's Alfred Morris, that's great.
Well, hold on. Hey, when they took those 2 running backs, I thought Bobby Turner liked both of those backs. And
he always says he likes everyone.
If we think about it for a second, they've taken undrafted free agents, but what's been the common theme with the undrafted free agent running backs? They're always hurt. So I thought that taking 2 running backs, Bobby Turner's plan, I thought they said, hey, we took them both for Bobby, and if they didn't, let's say one of them was Kyle's guy. But it looks like we're going to need both of those running backs really bad this year. So that's not even a problem right now, taking those running backs.
I don't think it's a UDFA running back that's always – I think running backs are just always hurt.
No, I mean on the Niners. Which UDFAs on Niners haven't been hurt?
Well, I mean, Tevin Coleman was hurt too, though. I mean, I think all their running backs have gotten hurt because they tend to favor smaller backs. Trey Sermon is a little bit bigger, but you can get bigger backs on later in the draft. I think the Niners would have been much better off this year spending that pick on a wide receiver or a corner.
A corner.
Hey, if it was a wide receiver, it'd be in the doghouse.
No, but again, at pick 80 though, what was he? Pick 84. At pick 84, you're already like scraping the bottom of the barrel at corner. I think there's more good wide receivers that come out every year than good corners.
I think most of
they
us
should
are
have
in
taken
agreement.
Asante Samuel Jr. That guy
Yeah,
should be on
I
the
don't
Niners.
think you're going to get an argument from anybody in here that we shouldn't have took Asante Samuel in the 2nd round. I don't think anybody's going to argue against that.
Yeah, but again, the Niners haven't drafted a corner before round 3 since Shante Spencer in, I believe, 2004.
Hey, Grant, I got a trade.
Okay.
Green Bay needs a wide receiver, right?
Yes.
And they like 2 in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Ayuk, right? Ayuk's in our doghouse, right?
Uh-huh.
And what do we need right now? We need a cornerback, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, how about Eric Stokes? they're late round, 1st round draft picks.
All right.
I mean they're not down on Eric Stokes, though. They love Eric Stokes.
I know that Rodgers was talking about how he wanted Ayuk, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one. Maybe. I mean, if he's really in the doghouse, then he could get traded, right?
Yeah, what good is he if they're not going to even target
Trade Brandon Ayuk for a corner. Interesting. I mean, you'd like to get the other corner there. What's the guy's name?
Jair.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're not going to give up Jair.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. But, yeah, it's clever. That's very clever. I like that. I like that. I like it. Man, I'm glad we've worked this out. I was a little nervous earlier that we couldn't make this happen, but we did. And it's working.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
We got 400 people watching. Nice. Hey, if anyone wants to join this chat next time, you got to be a member of the Cohnhead Community. It's $2 a month.
Okay, so the offensive line, Mac looked good about orchestrating the line. I don't know anything about that, so I want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, he looked good. I just, man, that Detroit Lions defense had no talent on it. So I'm curious to see what the Niners offense is really about, but I think that they should be able to run the ball pretty much on everyone this year. Although, I don't know, Arizona, man, Arizona's front seven is so nasty. I mean, they just shut down Derrick Henry. What are they going to do to Elijah Mitchell? I don't know, man. The Niners are in a tough spot because
and they have Buda Baker.
Crazy good. crazy.
They have Buda Baker, Isaiah Simmons, Brian
Thomas,
Murphy,
Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt. I mean, it's wild.
Crazy.
Yep.
They have the ultimate equalizer, though, in Cliff Kingsbury when the games get real tough.
Well, here's the thing. Their entire offense right now is Kyler Murray running around creating for himself. And that's great, but I feel like he's going to get hurt doing that. That's what happened last year. And the best way to protect him is to run the ball. And that's where Cliff Kingsbury comes in. And what is their running game? What is it? It's James Conner and Chase Edmonds. It's basically Kyler Murray scrambling. So I wonder what they're going to look really good until he gets hurt. So I will see. It's just that every team in the NFC West can run the ball and control the game except for Arizona.
Hey, Grant?
Yes.
Was Isaac Sopoaga a great player on the Niners?
He wasn't a great player, but he was a good starting nose tackle for a long time. I got a good Isaac Sopoaga story. So back in the day, the Niners, when Harbaugh was the coach, would have like three-hour practices, very long. And they would have lots of water breaks because it's hot. And there was a player like 15 years ago on the Niners who died in practice. Forget it, Thomas Harrion. So they had a lot of water breaks. And during the water breaks, Sopoaga would go into a special cooler and sneak Diet Cokes. I'd never forget that. But he was 340 pounds, so maybe he needed the extra calories. But he'd be drinking Diet Coke during practice. It's amazing.
That's great. That's great.
I think it was like Jim Tom Sula's Diet Cokes because he would be drinking Diet Cokes all the time. But you're a player, man. That's not hydrating.
Hey, did you ever talk to Harrison?
Yeah, I really didn't. Paris Harrelson always seemed like a really nice guy, but I didn't talk to him that much because he wasn't super like there were a lot of really famous players in that team, and he wasn't one of them. So I missed it. I didn't have really that many interactions with him.
Hey, Grant, something I found really cool is that San Jose State's playing Hawaii in college football, and Isaac Sopoaga played there.
Hawaii, right?
Yeah, Isaac Sopoaga. He played for the Hawaii Warriors football team.
Nice. Good for him.
And we're playing them this Saturday. So I'm pretty stoked about that. That a former Niner played for Hawaii who we're playing this weekend.
Are you a big San Jose State fan?
Yeah.
Nice. Did you go there?
Yeah, I currently go there.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Me and Shard all watched the game we did the other week.
Yeah.
So you're great, Grant.
Pardon?
Yeah, I like Grant.
I want to know if I'm the only one that suffers from PTSD. Every time a player makes a play, I cheer it, and then instantly I think, please don't come up lame. Because during that Deebo Samuel play, where the 79-yard touchdown, I was thinking, oh my God, don't pull up lame. Don't pull up lame.
I know, right?
Is anyone suffering that besides just me?
Yeah, I mean, now that Mostert and Verrett got hurt, and it's like, wow, I guess we should have been expecting this all offseason. Now it's like every time Deebo touches the ball or Bosa's on the field or Ford's on the field or Jimmy has the ball, it's like, uh-oh. I mean,
hey, Grant, I'm 1-0 in fantasy football right now.
Nice.
Grant, I got a question.
Sure.
Right? Can you walk me through how to contact players' agents again, please?
Pardon?
Can you remember on the one Twitch you talked us through
how to get in touch with the agents?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to call Juszczyk's agent, right?
Damn straight, bro.
Okay, so here's how you do it. Okay, it's all public record. So you go to Kyle Juszczyk Spot Track, and it'll say who his agent is. His agent says Joe Linta, JL Sports. So now I'm gonna Google NFL agent database. Boom. First thing that comes is NFLPA.com. Find an agent. Click on that. Then you scroll down. Click on search our list of certified agents. It's amazing it's this easy, right? Filter by name. Click on that. Joe Linta. Searching. It's right there. Right there. He's in Branford, Connecticut. I'm not gonna read his number, but you can look it up.
Don't do it. No.
It's really easy.
No, thank you, Grant.
Yeah, absolutely. There it is. Hit him up.
Hey, Grant.
Yeah.
I will.
So you enjoyed Detroit?
I did enjoy Detroit. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, it's kind of like Oakland, and where like if you say you're going to Detroit, people are like, don't get shot. Ha ha ha. But I'm from Oakland. Oakland's really nice. Parts of it are. And the part of Detroit I was in was really nice. It was the heart of downtown. I stayed in the Ren Center, which is famous. I walked to Ford Field, which is right next to Comerica Park. It's got a really nice downtown. And I like a city in America with a good downtown because, I mean, LA doesn't have one.
Hey, Grant, you know the 49ers game? Do you know how close this could be?
Say it again. You were cutting in and out.
No, I'm saying the Eagles and 49ers game. I'm saying how close will the game be?
Yeah, I think if Kinlaw and Mosley don't play, it's going to be a hell of a really close game. If Kinlaw plays and Mosley plays, they should be able to play good defense and probably limit the Eagles to 20, 24 points and win. But if Kinlaw can't play and Mosley can't play, I think the Eagles could put up 30 points.
Which players are you really looking forward to seeing in that game?
Eric Armstead. I want to see Eric Armstead keep Jalen Hurts in the freaking pocket. Also Nick Bosa too. Because if Eric Armstead, he's so bad at containing quarterbacks, you can roll out quarterbacks to his side every time, and that kind of takes Nick Bosa out of the game because now he's chasing a quarterback down across the field, a quarterback who's faster than him. So yeah, Eric Armstead has to be good.
And another question is that who's the most intimidating player on the 49ers that players don't want to mess around with?
Ross Dwelly. I think there's no question about that. Javon Kinlaw kind of has that little bit of a, I don't know, Laken Tomlinson. I don't know.
Did Arden Key play in the game? I don't remember seeing or any stats.
Yeah, he did play in the game. He made no impact.
Okay.
We need to throw to Dwelly more.
I thought Arden Key was a former. I thought Arden Key was a former Raider.
He is
before he came up to the Niners.
He is. He was.
Yeah.
He was.
He was a former Raider.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. I've had a bit of a brainwave. I have. Right. It's either a brainwave or a brain fart. You can decide.
Okay.
Right. So, what I want to do right in the end is I think we should move Juice Check to tight end. Right. Cut Charlie Warner. Right in the air. Sorry, Charlie Warner. I'm sorry. Right in the air. You're not needed. Right. Cut Charlie Warner. Right in the air. Move Juice to tight end and promote Josh Hockett from the practice squad and get Josh Hockett in the run game and just use Juice primarily as a tight end. What do you think?
I like Juszczyk at fullback, but I don't understand why Charlie Warner's on the team. I think that's interesting. Is Josh Hockett better than Warner? If they cut Charlie Warner, would anyone pick him up or would he go with the practice squad? I think he'd be on the practice squad. I think the Niners have a few practice squad players in their 53-man roster. One of them is Jalen Hurd. Imagine if the Niners gave that roster spot to a cornerback who was decent as opposed to Jalen Hurd.
Hey, Grant, my other question is that which current 49er player would you really love to see in the Hall of Fame?
Which current 49ers player?
Yeah, would you like to see in the Hall of Fame, like make it into the Hall of Fame?
I think the guy on the Niners who has the best argument for it right now is Robbie Gould. Am I wrong? I mean, Kittle's young, Warner's young, Bosa's young. Trent Williams will be a Hall of Famer. He will be a Hall of Famer. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know if Robbie Gould will make it. Those two. Am I missing anyone?
Not Robbie Gould. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think Robbie Gould will be a Hall of Famer, no. But he is like the sixth most accurate quarterback kicker of all time.
What about Frank Gore?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
Frank's got to make the Hall of Fame.
Frank. Who else? George Kittle.
I don't know about Kittle yet, man.
Isn't it obvious?
What about Kyle Juszczyk?
I don't think so.
Grant,
which 49 players are
Definitely
you?
Ross.
Are you?
Definitely
which
Ross.
49 players have the chance of making it?
I would say Ross Dwelly for sure, and maybe
Fred Warner,
maybe Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm just kidding, Shardal.
Grant.
Yeah.
Hey, something really cool is that maybe when they have the at the Hall of Fame, when they have the induction ceremony for the players when they get into the Hall of Fame,
yeah,
we should all go and watch it. Like we should all have a trip and go down to Canton and watch the ceremony.
I'm in. Who's in with me and Shardal?
I'm in.
Road trip.
We
trip.
go down to Canton, and then we should watch the Hall induction ceremony, see who makes in the Hall of Fame. We can have a trip with Grant Cohn. It'll be fun.
Let's rent an RV.
I'm saying Grant can treat us to lunch like treat us all to lunch or something.
I think that's a great idea. I can treat you all to
I can
lunch.
put it on his expenses.
I'll make
Grant he could treat us to lunch or something, and he could buy the tickets for us and everything.
I think so. That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a question.
Yes.
I've got a question. Right. Has George Kittle changed since he signed the big contract? And if so, how?
I think he has. I don't know. I just don't feel like he's been as big of an impact player since he signed that contract.
Hey, Grant Coda,
I
like you as a reporter. Some people have been saying that they don't like you.
I know. Isn't that weird? How could you not like me?
I like you.
I like you too, Chardal.
And people have been telling you that you suck and then you're not the best reporter.
I know that hurts my feelings.
Yeah, hey, Grant, I owe you an apology. I do. Hey. Right? I went on the Rombo show, called him Rombo, and said you were all about the money. I want to take that back and say you are 75% about the money.
And when your peers hate you, that means you're doing something very right.
You know what I hate?
What?
It hurts my feelings when people put you down like that.
Me too.
Because like you're you're in the professional world. I mean, people are gonna put you down and people are gonna say things to you because you're a professional reporter. I mean, you work for Sports Illustrated.
It's okay. I can take it, Chardal. Don't worry about me, man. I appreciate you having my back though, but you don't have to worry about me.
I'm trying to back you up.
I hear you, man. But honestly, I don't think twice about it. I'm having the best day right now, and tomorrow's gonna be even better. I feel it. But guys, I gotta end this now. I gotta go live in 20 minutes with Jack, and I gotta call Jack, and we gotta set up. So this was a good first one. We did 50 minutes. This was a lot of fun. I want to do this at least once a week.
This was a really great talk with all of you guys in Discord. I hope we can do this again.
Oh, we absolutely will, guys. Thank you very much, everyone.
I thought it was fun too.
Yeah, it was so fun.
We'll do it again
I always
soon.
love you guys.
See you guys.
I don't want you to do the Cohn phone. I want you to do Discord now.
Okay.
Faithful forever faithful.
We'll do both.
Can we do
Don't worry. All right. See you guys.
Can we keep doing Discord and not the Cohn phone? I think this is a much better way of doing it.